Hi, this is Trey Pastor. I want to do a reaction to a video channel. It's a new video channel that I first time I've heard of it. It's called Nighttime Spooks. They have scary stories. That's sort of like Mr. Nightmare. And I downloaded one video just to see, if I'm gonna like it or not, because I'm a Mr. Nightmare man. But I'm gonna give this one a chance, and this one is gonna be 3 true gas station horror stories. Okay, so hopefully these I haven't heard. Hopefully these are not ones that I heard on Mr. Nightmare before or anything. These are totally new, and I don't know what the vibe is or anything. But I saw when I was downloading some Mr. Nightmare videos, I saw this one pop up in the YouTube algorithm, showed up. So I said, you know what? Let me give this a chance. He has 149K, 149,000 subscribers. So you got to be pretty good. And he has over almost 400 videos on his channel. So hopefully, like I said, if I like this one, I'll go to his channel and react to some more of these. Okay, like I said, I'm going to be trying to do more reactions on my channel. So check it out. Anyway, please hit the like and subscribe button. And let's get right to it. 3 true gas station horror stories. I'll be right back with my reaction. Okay, let me put headphones on. Okay, let's get right to it. Okay, 3 creepy true gas station horror stories. Okay, here we go. Here we go right now. Go. Gas station horror stories.
I used to work at a gas station. This was about 20 years ago now. I worked there for maybe a year and never really liked it that much. That's because for most of the time that I worked there, I would be working overnight shifts. The small convenience store that was part of the gas station was open 24/7, and when I worked, I would be all by myself overnight. There was no need for any other employees because we hardly got any customers in the store overnight. The location of the gas station was slightly rural. Some cars would always come in and get gas here and there, but not many people would come inside. I guess that made the job easy for most of the time. But still, sometimes things were lonely and somewhat creepy. I mean, I was all by myself in the middle of the night, and sometimes sketchy characters would come in. But through all that, I was able to continue my job. That is, until one night, when the experience I had broke the last straw for me and caused me to quit. It happened one Friday night as I worked an overnight shift. It was about 11 o'clock. I hadn't had any customers in the store for quite some time. From where I was behind the counter, I could see out to the 4 gas pumps that we had. They sat vacant. Even the road next to the gas station was very quiet. Then, I saw headlights in the distance. Soon, the vehicle slowed down and then entered the gas station. It was a larger, white SUV. Looking back, I believe it to be a 1996 Chevy Suburban. It drove around slowly and then parked at one of the gas pumps. The way that it was parked was so that it was facing directly away from me and I could see the back window. I didn't think much of it and just assumed it to be another customer filling their tank. I just sat behind the counter. But after a few minutes, I did notice that nobody had gotten out of the vehicle yet. Normally, somebody would have gotten out by now and gotten the gas or walked inside the store. But whoever was driving the truck was still inside of it. A little bit strange, but still wasn't a big deal. Now, I wasn't just staring at them the whole time, but I could clearly see them from out the big window in the gas station, and I didn't really have anything else to do either. So at least 30 minutes passed, and still nobody had gotten out of the car. Now this was really weird. In the meantime, I did notice one other car came and got gas at another pump, and then it left. Then it was back to just me and the SUV at the pump. After several more minutes, I got up to get something to drink, and then I returned to my spot behind the counter. When I did, I realized that I could now see somebody in the back of the SUV. The rear window was tinted, but I could tell that somebody was looking out of it. Their face was so close that I could see them. It was a man, and I remember that he was looking right at me with these wide eyes. I didn't know if he was the one who had been driving the SUV or not, but still, no one had gotten out of it. I looked at him for about a minute, and he stared at me the entire time. I was so creeped out by it. I remember that I looked away and tried to distract myself with other things for a while. But this was so bizarre that I kept looking back to the car to see if the guy was still looking. And every time that I looked back, he was. He stayed there, staring at me out the back, barely moving for almost an hour. I really couldn't believe that it went on for so long. Remembering back now, I'm not exactly sure why, but I decided to get up and go outside. Maybe I was just curious.
Why?
I don't really think I had intentions of talking to whoever this person was. But I got up from behind the counter and walked over to the door. Then I left the store and walked out to the small sidewalk that we had in the front. The man was still staring at me from the back of the car, but now he was probably 50 feet away. I took a couple of steps into the parking lot in front of the gas pumps. At that point, the man finally moved. He quickly and suddenly ducked down and out of my sight. Then I saw some movement, but couldn't tell what it was. Looking back, I believe that it was the man crawling over the seats. Maybe 10 seconds later, as I still stood there, the SUV suddenly started to move. It went in reverse and was quickly backing up straight towards me. When I realized this, I had to quickly move back and up onto the sidewalk. The SUV continued to go in reverse, and I moved back right up against the building. Then I heard the squealing skid marks, and the SUV came to a stop just feet away from me. I really thought that I was going to get run over, and the guy was going to back into the building, but he didn't. When he stopped, he then very quickly drove off, moving forward and screeching his tires in the process. He left the gas station and went back onto the road and then went out of sight. I was really in shock of what had happened, and I couldn't believe it. The guy tried to run me over. I went back inside and was just hoping that he wouldn't return. Luckily, he didn't. After that, I put in my notice to quit. That whole experience was so bizarre. I have no idea what the guy was doing staring at me for so long, and then seemingly trying to run me over.
That was weird. Story number 2.
This is something that happened when I was staying in a hotel a few years ago. I was on a trip with my best friend Emily, and this was on the second night that we were there. We were staying a little ways outside of the city because it was cheaper. The area where we were staying seemed pretty nice though. Late at night, we were going to go to the gas station to get some snacks, but Emily's boyfriend called her on the phone, and they started talking for a while, so I went on my own. The area around the hotel was basically a couple of other businesses that were now closed. Then there was a gas station that was open. I left the hotel and went down the sidewalk to walk there. It took me maybe 5 minutes, and nobody else was outside. When I got into the gas station, there was actually a lot of people in there. Probably about 10, and the store was a little bit larger than most. There was a huge selection of snacks and drinks, and I was inside for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I picked out a number of items and then checked out and left. When I was inside of the store, I didn't really notice anything strange happening or anybody seeming suspicious. I do recall though, right after I left, I heard the door open and somebody leaving behind me. I didn't think much of it obviously, but when I left the parking lot and was back on the sidewalk, the person followed. I sort of looked behind me and saw that there was a man walking a ways back. He was wearing a gray sweatshirt and a winter hat. He followed me on the sidewalk, and we both walked back in the direction of the hotel. This road that I was walking alongside was kind of a back road and very quiet. There wasn't really a big reason to walk down it right now, other than to probably go back to the hotel. So when the man continued to walk behind me, I hoped that he was also staying at the hotel. I couldn't help but feel a little bit nervous though. Soon, I made it all the way back to the hotel parking lot. The man was the same distance behind me and still there. I walked into the lobby of the hotel, and the man followed me in. Then, I walked to the stairs because I didn't want to be in the elevator with the guy. I figured that if he really did stay here, then he would take the elevator like most people. But no, he followed me to the stairs. After I got into the stairwell, I let the door close. Within a second after it shut, I heard it opening. I knew the man was going to follow me up. I walked up the stairs to where our room was, on the 3rd floor. When I was walking up the stairs, I texted Emily to come to the room door and open it. Luckily, she saw my text within seconds and said that she would. I got to our floor and once again closed the door to the stairwell behind me. I was about 20 feet down the hallway when I heard it opening. I couldn't believe
Oh,
that the man was still following me. Our room was a
so,
ways down, so I kept walking, but I walked much faster now. I could hear the
yeah.
footsteps behind me approaching fast, and he was gaining on me,
Uh,
but I didn't look behind.
uh,
Soon, I saw our door open slightly because Emily was holding it. At that point, I walked even faster and got to the door.
so,
I quickly went inside and slammed the door shut behind me. It automatically locked, but I put the other old-fashioned lock on it as well. I then looked
yeah.
through the peephole and saw the man walk right up to the door. Then he kind of walked
Oh,
away slowly, only to return a few seconds later. When he did, he knocked on the door. I certainly
oh,
was not going to answer it. I moved away from the door.
calls.
Emily didn't really know what was going on and was very confused. The man knocked on the
So,
door one more time about a minute later. Then, finally, he walked away. I told Emily the story of what happened. I'm really glad that she
uh,
was able to hold the door open for me. If not, I would have had
uh,
to unlock the door myself with the key, which would have probably slowed
yep,
me down 5 to 10 seconds at least. The man may have been
yep,
able to close in on me. I don't know who the guy
yep.
was or why he followed me, but I really don't think he was
What?
actually staying in our hotel.
Of course not. You stupid going by yourself. Story number 3.
I used to work at a gas station. I only worked there for about a month, but still had a scary experience. When I worked there, it was mostly at night. One time I was working by myself, but it really wasn't that late yet. I think it was maybe about 10 o'clock at night. Customers were coming in here and there pretty steady up to that point, but at about 10 o'clock is when things really started to quiet down. So I was just standing there behind the counter, and the last customer left. For the next hour or so, things were very quiet. I think we got just 2 or 3 people inside, and just a few more get
Yeah.
gas. Then the store was
Okay.
completely empty. Things became very quiet, and I became very bored. When this happened, I would usually just go on my phone. There was nothing that really needed to be done at that time. Maybe 10 minutes went by, but I suddenly heard a noise. It was coming from the back end of the store, a part that I couldn't see.
Oh,
Now the store wasn't that big and had maybe 5 aisles total, but there were areas out of my vision still. It was startling because I was 100% sure that nobody was in there. I got up from where I was to look, but I was really pretty nervous. Then I heard another noise. I asked if anybody was there, but I got no response. I started walking
oh,
down one of the aisles towards where the noise was. I really wanted to just
oh,
turn around and leave it alone though. Once I made it to where I had heard the noise, I still saw nothing. But just seconds later, as I was still kind of looking around, I heard another noise now in the next aisle over. I looked, and then
oh,
saw a man appear from around the corner. I have no idea
oh,
where he came from or where he had been. He had longer hair and a longer beard as well. The man walked right up to me and reached out his hand. I could tell he was holding something but didn't know what. I had no clue what he was doing until I felt a shock and fell to the ground. The man tased me. I was down, and he
oh,
then stepped over me, and I saw him grab some random items off the shelf. He then yelled some
whoa,
random sentence that I didn't hear very well. I just remember hearing a couple of curse words. After that, he left. I was still on the ground for like a minute, and then finally got up. Then I called the police. I reported the guy, and the cops showed up a while later, but the man was long
so,
gone. We looked at
yeah.
security footage, and the guy literally hid around behind one of the aisles for over an hour. I have no idea
Jeez.
what he was doing. I just know that after that, I quit.
Nighttime Spooks. Okay. Those are interesting stories. Like I said, the first one with the guy, the guy staring at the car. Although, like, what do you do? I mean, the guy's just parked and he's staring at you. That would kind of freak me out. I think I probably would have maybe picked up the phone and called the cops. And if I'm working at a store late at night, I'm gonna have some sort of weapon with me. I'm not gonna be working at a store in the middle of nowhere with no weapon. Okay, exactly. Look at it. And then when he went outside, which why he went outside, I have no idea why he went outside. As long as you're in the store, you could be safe. So if you think the guy is dangerous, it's like you can go and lock the door so he can't get in. But then, you could break the window, I guess, or try to do that. But I wouldn't have went outside. If you're going to sit there and stare at me, you know what? And that makes me feel uncomfortable. I'd have picked up the phone, called the cops, and just say, listen, there's a guy loitering in the thing, and I think he may be dangerous, and let the cops come and let the cops deal with him. I'm not going out there and try to be a hero. That store is not my property, okay? I don't own it, so I'm not defending it with my life, okay? I'll let it, like I said, I'll let him hang out over there, let him, stare. And like I said, to the point where I feel uncomfortable, then I pick up the phone and call the cops. I'm not going out there to confront him, okay? And the guy, literally tried to run you over, okay? Which is, again, weird enough that he stopped there and was just staring at you. He's just probably trying to freak you out. Then again, you never know what type of people are going to pull up at late at night like that. So who knows? Like I said, maybe he thought he'd freak you out, but let the cops deal with him. I'm not screwing around with him. Now, the second story, the girl, that was just ridiculous, okay, for her to do that. Go to the store by herself. I know the area around the store is populated, but you're going to walk along that stretch by yourself, and then then you hear the guy slowly walking behind you. That was stupid. You should have waited. Okay, there's safety in numbers, okay? So going there by yourself is ridiculous, because the guy was slowly following. What if the guy ran up to you and snatched you, and did something while you're walking on that isolated path? Okay, you're lucky that, he didn't just all of a sudden decide to bolt, or even bolt after you and try to speed up real fast and catch you. And you're by yourself with no weapons or something. You're vulnerable. That's insane. I mean, it's good that you called your friend and she got off the phone, Gavin, with her boyfriend, to make sure that she opens the door, so that way they gave you a couple of seconds to get into the door rather than having to wait and pull out your car to unlock the door to get in. Okay, the good thing about those hotel doors is that the key cards, they're nice and solid usually, so it won't be, those doors are not hard. Those doors are hard to break into. Okay, but luckily, again, like you said, luckily your friend wasn't on the phone, so you was able to just she was able to open up the door so you could just run right in. But you had to walk down that long way, and the guy is following you. Look at the guy follow you all the way from the store, all the way down that path, all the way into the hotel, and all the way up the stair. Come on. And you did the right thing by not taking the elevator, because you want to be in the elevator with him. But again, the guy was consistently following you. I don't know why you should have maybe when you walked into the thing, you noticed that he was following you. As soon as you got into the hotel, go to the night clerk and say, listen, this guy is following me. Could you, call the cops? And this guy is following me, stay there with another, because I'm sure there was a night people at that hotel working the night shift. There's either a guard down there in the lobby and the people that are working behind the counter. It could be one or two people working behind the counter. At least you have people down there rather than you taking the stairs. I think the other option could have been just going to the lobby, because I remember the hotel we were staying at, me and my, when we went on vacation, I think 2 years ago, there was like, I think 3 or 4 people working behind the counter. Even at nighttime, they had at least 2 people, I think, working behind the counter. Okay, so when you walk in the hotel, there's at least 2 people working there, I think, and probably even, and the thing about the hotels is that you got so many directions that you could go that people can jump out at you and all that stuff. So you taking the stairs is well and good, but like I said, he's supposed to you to sped up, okay, and ran charging at you. Again, like I said, you're lucky. You should have definitely went by yourself. I think that was just silly, going by yourself. You tell me the hotel don't got snacks or something? You can't call for room service? You had to go out and walk down a thing by yourself? No, I think that's, especially, not to be sexist, but when you're a woman, you're vulnerable. Okay, I'm sorry. That's just the fact. You're vulnerable, and you're more likely, to get snatched up. Okay, that's why you don't do that by yourself. And you were silly going by yourself. Okay, that was nuts. Okay. Anyway, the third story, the guy tasing you. Again, you don't own that store. Okay, if you hear the noise, you should have a weapon. Do not, if you're going to go investigate it and the guy's not responding to you, and like I said, if you have a weapon, like I said, when the guy stunned you, he had a stun gun and basically sometimes you'll knock you down. But if you had a bat or something, okay, and that you could have had at the ready, as soon as he'd have jumped out, you could have cracked him over the head instead of letting him get the jump on you, basically, and tase you. Okay, you lucky he just, I guess he just wanted to steal a couple of stuff and then left. Again, he could have kept tasing you and tasing you and then robbed the place. But I guess he just wanted a few stuff. But again, you working by yourself at nighttime, you definitely have a weapon. I'm sorry. You work on these dangerous positions. That's why I don't see how people do it. There's the people that have these little on the highway, these little rest areas that people work in. I don't see how people do it unless it's like a big area. Like when I used to go see my brother when he was locked up, and there was a little rest area. Me and my sister used to stop by, but that place was, I think it had 2 levels to it. It had 2 levels, and it had stores in it, and there was a lot of people that worked behind. I think they had like a Burger King and these other stores that sell newspaper and all that stuff. But there was people, so there was a lot more people in there than just a one person. But I could imagine like a 7-Eleven or something like that with a gas station when it's maybe one person working there by itself or 2. And I definitely think if you working at a gas station or something like that, there should be at least 2 of you, not just one person. I think that's dangerous, having one person work that place. There should be at least 2 people working that place. So that way there's always, again, like I said, safety and numbers, okay? And that's what you need at those places. I don't think they should have people working by themselves in a gas station by themselves. I think that's nuts, okay? You definitely should have at least 2 people working, maybe more depending on how big the store is, but not one person. I think that's suicide because you never know what nut could come in and you never know what you're going to encounter. So I think that's nuts. Okay, he had a good atmosphere for these stories. His voice is not as, Mr. Nightmare has just a unique voice. So I guess I got to get used to this guy that does these nighttime spooks. But I like the atmosphere he set for his stories. The visuals were good, and the background noise stuff that he had, that was good. So I'm gonna give his thing another shot and see what else he has on his channel and see how I can react to those as well. But again, like I said, maybe I'm used to Mr. Nightmare's voice. That's why, his voice, it may got to take me a little time to get used to it because I'm used to Mr. Nightmare's, who has such a distinctive voice. Okay, so it'll take me a while to get used to that. But anyway, in any event, I'm definitely going to check out more of these nighttime spooks. Again, let me know what you think of these of his stories. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Again, I'll leave a link to his channel in the description box so you can check him out for yourself. Also, I have links to my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram. Also have a link to my other channel, Paul Views and the Pains. So you check that out as well. Also, I have a link down below to my Patreon. I want to say a special thank you to my patrons. Their names will appear in this video somewhere. I want to say thank you to them supporting me. Always have my back. And again, my patrons, only $5 a month. I have tons of content on there, tons of unedited content on there. I got everything from movies to Marvel shows to DC shows to Gen V. The last 4 things I put on my Patreon are the X-Men 97 episodes, all unedited. Okay, if you follow a link down to my Patreon page, you get 30-second clips of all the content that I have on my Patreon page. So follow the link down below to check it out. Also, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps the channel, and I truly appreciate it. Also, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when I upload new content to this channel. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long, and take care.